Hello and welcome. I'm delighted to be joined by Jason and Gareth from Metz today. Chaps, how are you doing?
Very
Very
good,
well,
thank you.
thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, let's start as we always do. I'm going to go to Jason first. Jason, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Jason Gladwin. I'm the project executive for the Metz range, Metz cavity tray. My sort of general role is to sort of promote the product across obviously the market and social media, and I sort of deal with all the costings for the product.
Fantastic. And Gareth, over to you.
Yeah, hi. My name's Gareth Price. I'm technical consultant for Metz. I've had many years in the construction industry, dealing with all the facets of it, from contracting to architectural to on-site technical requirements. Many years in the flat roofing industry, and more so in the lead industry on technical CPDs. And I'm a REBA CBD provider.
Okay, that's fantastic. We'll get into the product we're talking about on this case study today just in a little bit. But first, after the introductions, we like to try and know and understand a bit of a brief background to Metz, the organisation. So could you provide that for us?
Yeah, by all means. Well, Metz is basically based in Hoddesdon, and that is an office and warehouse that distributes product on behalf of Grillo, who is a German manufacturer who are experts in rolled metals, especially zinc, and they've got an innovative background to product development, which brings us into the product that we have, which is called Metz. But predominantly we distribute to the UK via Metz, which is based in Hoddesdon.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's a slight insight into the importance of an agreement certification there, which we will get onto later.
Absolutely.
But I just want to be a bit more specific about this case study and the product we're talking about. Can you give us a description of that product?
Well, the product was originally developed as a replacement for lead, and we know the downsides to the lead industry with all the issues with environmental pollution and the issues of lead. So Metz, we developed a product called Metz Flashing, which has a BBA certificate and also an Exeter Fire Certification A1. And that was brought out as a product to replace lead, not as an alternative, but to actually replace it. Obviously, when we had the issues, the horrific issues of 2018 with the Grenfell tragedy, which shocked the whole industry, including the whole world, I would think, in the construction industry, it became a very infamous event in construction. We saw the opportunity to develop the product from a flashing product into a non-combustible cavity tray. The building regulations changed in 2019 because of the tragedy of Grenfell, and it called for the requirement of a non-combustible cavity tray on buildings over 18 meters high. So that's where we are at the moment. And obviously then we went forward to get a standalone, which is very important, a standalone BBA certificate, which we've just recently completed and received.
Okay, fantastic. Just going back to what you were saying there about halfway through, there was the requirements in the industry for this type of product, clearly due to certain circumstances. But how did the product come into existence? Was it a case of you knew exactly what you were doing straight away as soon as it was needed?
Well, it's an interesting one, that.
Great.
We were at a private construction meeting at Excel. And we had a small exhibition stand, and bear in mind we had the BBA flashing product, the certification at that point, and this was prior to Grenfell. And we met the chief fire officer for London, who was in charge of the Shard, the walkie-talkie building, and building of Excel, and he actually said to us, "My goodness, what a wonderful product! Have you considered that as a cavity tray?" So obviously the lights came on. We thought, "Wow, what a product!" And then the horrible events of Grenfell happened, and away we went. And we developed the product. But the most important thing, we wanted a standalone BBA certificate for the cavity tray, which again we did.
Okay.
And obviously, as we all know, we ran into the COVID issues and the lockdown, which has been quite a long process, not because of BBA, but because of the lockdowns and the issues we've all had worldwide as a worldwide pandemic. And as I said, we're pleased now that we have the full standalone BBA non-combustible cavity tray certificate.
So you've got that certificate, like you just finished with there.
We've literally got it just in January, which we're very pleased
fantastic
about.
news.
With a lot of help from some of the scientific colleagues at BBA.
Brilliant, and we'll cover that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But you said you wanted an agreement certification specifically for this product. What was the rationale? What led you to that rationale?
Well, because of the change in building regulations 2019, it became a requirement, and basically the product didn't change that much from a flashing, but obviously the use of it did, because it was in such an important area that we wanted a standalone BBA certificate. That was vitally important to us, because, as I said, with certification, you have clarity and surety from the specifier's point of view, and obviously that's something that we wanted to pursue. So it's worked for our marketing purposes perfectly.
And also we needed the BBA as well for the NHBC Accept Scheme, which was run in conjunction, obviously, with the BBA. So
yeah, and the product was very much developed when the building regulations call for a non-combustible cavity tray. It was a very new concept, and we were not in partnership with NHBC, but they helped us to develop it, the technical brochure with 20 update versions, so that they were happy with what was coming into a relatively brand new product into the market. And we have to remember that we had sites, major project sites, that had come to a standstill because at the time there was not available a non-combustible cavity tray. So we developed it very much in conjunction and from a technical point of view with NHBC.
So these sites that you're saying, was it did you end up directly replacing? Have you got any examples of where this tray has been used?
Probably the best one is Barrett's at Acton. They had a huge development site that were just coming up to DPC level and was suddenly held up by NHBC's inspectors asking for a non-combustible cavity tray to A1 standards, which that's the ultimate standard. And we were called in to a major meeting with Barrett's technical people and NHB to build a rig on site at Acton to show everybody the capabilities of Metz, which was deemed as a malleable non-combustible cavity tray. And so then we went through the process with Barrett's, who were highly delighted with the product, and NHBC at that time accepted it when no product was around, which was fabulous for us.
Okay, that's cool. It's good to see it's being used in that almost innovative approach to build that rig and show it in situ and show the installation. I think that's hugely important.
I should say that the product now, even before we got the BBA certificate, has been used across the UK in all the major sites. And one of the projects we're extremely pleased with is the new Oval Village near Wimbledon, which is a 10-year project with Berkeley Homes with highly complex detailing, which is going fantastically well. But it's one of the most major projects in the UK at the moment.
Brilliant.
Plus many other ones.
Yeah, nice little plug there. Love it. That's what
Sorry
we're here to do.
That.
No, absolutely.
It's
you go for it.
Site.
That's what we're here to do. We want to push and promote all these amazing products and people and companies that have gone through that process of getting an agreement certification. And
I think
that's why we do these
your
case studies.
Would like to live in a converted gas terminal, please look at that one.
Yeah, I don't think that's on many people's bucket list, but yeah, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
So just moving on to the BBA then. Why choose the BBA specifically to get that certification?
Well, it probably goes back to my long lifespan. You know, I'm coming up to nearly 69. I've always been aware of British Board of Agreement. It's just an important thing. And being a Yorkshireman, what it says on the tin, it does what it says on the tin is an important aspect. It's basically, at the end of the day, Peter, is credibility. If you've got certification and even fire certification, you've got credibility, and credibility with architects and contractors and designers is the foremost important thing to have, because they're representing, and I always believe BBA Agreement certificates are representing not only the contractor, the architect, but the client. And you've got surety. And I think that's the easiest way to say it. It's one word: you have surety with a construction product, and BBA give you that.
Fantastic. So what was your experience like working with the BBA?
Superb, absolutely superb. I have to say, we've gone through the most horrendous times with lockdown for 2 years, but the BBA have been incredibly accommodating, where we can actually come along to site and help and build the rig and be advised by your colleagues from the technical side and the scientific side. I won't mention any names, but it's been a great experience, and it's been a great learning experience. And they've actually explained what they're looking for from the certification. And it's not just a piece of paper, BBA. It's knowing that it's gone through the most utmost critical tests, and making sure the product, exactly what it says, it does what it says on the tin, and gives you surety. And it gives us as manufacturers surety that we've done the right thing with the product. So it's an incredibly important, it's very easy for me to say, but it's such an important document to have, BBA, as a product developer and manufacturer. I can't see now that obviously Brexit's happened, how a manufacturer selling into the UK market can go forward without a BBA. I would deem it impossible, especially from the architecture's point of view.
Okay,
and obviously doing CPDs and being a REBA provider, BBA is critical.
Okay,
so I'm not overstating the fact. It's a critical element to product manufacturing.
Yeah,
and it's a minimal requirement now for architects and contractors, essentially, that they have a certificate, basically. So
okay, that's cool.
We were actually bombarded by contractors desperate for the BBA certificate from all the major developers in this country while we were going ahead with projects, and we had to basically reassure them, and BBA colleagues, your colleagues, actually helped us to reassure the market that we were going forward, which took us into NHIC Accepts, which was a plug gap till issues had been sorted out because of COVID. I think I'm right in saying that, Jason.
That's correct. Yeah.
Brilliant. So final thoughts, just to wrap things up, because I think from what you've said and described the product, what it does, the importance to the market, and the reason for choosing the BBA, it all sounds sounds really good. But what does achieving a BBA Agrément certification mean to yourselves, but the business as a whole as well?
I think Jason can answer that one. I think I've answered pretty well, but Jason.
No, so the BBA is the absolute most crucial sort of certification that we needed, essentially, for the product. It will take the product on to the next level, and be able to be sort of sold into bigger contracts going forward.
I think also, if I could just add, with major projects, even small projects, when you have a warranty company involved, i.e. LABC, Premier, NHBC, and some of the independent ones, it's critical to have a BBA, and more so now, because what insurance companies are doing, that are basically covering the project, they're looking for future-proofing their projects, and it will become an absolute requirement to have a BBA certificate on major projects, but not only warranty companies, but for insurance companies, Peter.
Okay, fantastic. Great way to end that. Gareth, Jason, thank you so much for your time. Very much appreciated.
You're very welcome. Thank you,
Peter.
Thank you, Peter.